that it has been so long since I have posted a YouTube video. So long, in fact, that it feels weird sitting here filming this. I think it's been 5 months. This will be a paranormal video that we're going to go into in a couple seconds here. As you guys can probably relate to, it's been a little crazy. 2020 started off really strong for me, and then it kind of just went. And so I've had a lot of things going on. I know I've been posting about, taking polls and telling you guys I'm going to post soon, and then things just kept coming up. I signed with Ford Models here in Arizona in January, Ford RVA. Super excited about that opportunity. And then the whole thing with everything going on in the world happened, and it's been really stressful for a lot of people. We're all self-quarantining. Some of us have to go to work still, myself included. My hours have been cut drastically, and it's just been really stressful. So I'm just trying to find ways to stay strong and just kind of get back into doing things like YouTube and things that I love that I haven't had time for this past year, because the universe is obviously forcing us to slow down. If you're going through a tough time, I feel you. I've had many days where I've cried. So yeah, you guys, I hope you guys are all doing your part by staying in and, washing your hands, social distancing, all that stuff, because the faster we work together to get through this, the faster we are going to get through it. So also, you guys, I am posting more so on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, I'll put my handle somewhere there as well. Trying to post more on TikTok, made one today, but don't know how much I'll keep up with that. And I am starting a Fiverr account to try and find some creative ways to make some money doing things that I love. So if you do Fiverr, if you want to follow me on Fiverr, I'm going to be making Instagram stories for people, like graphics, posts, YouTube thumbnails if that's something you want. And as you all know, Fiverr is a very, very well priced platform, which is why it's so successful. So if you want to get some good quality stuff, then follow me on Fiverr. And I don't really know how to tell you what my username is. I think it's just angsasaki, and S-A-S-A-K-I, like it is everywhere. So let's go ahead now. I know I've been rambling. Let's go ahead and get into the paranormal video. And before we get into these very creepy stories, you guys, please don't forget to ring the notification bell and subscribe so that you know when I post new stuff. And let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I actually found a really cool article. You guys know, if you've watched me for a while, I do find a lot of my information on the Occult Museum website. And I found a really creepy article that's called 19 Parents Share the Creepiest Things Their Kids Have Ever Said. And I only read a couple of them because I wanted to make sure they were good, but I have not read any of them aside from that, because I wanted to be able to react with you guys. I just think that kids definitely can see more and sense more things than adults do. This article reminded me of a couple of years ago. My sister had told me when my youngest nephew, Joseph, I think he was like 4 or 5, and they used to live in a house that they thought was haunted. They always heard voices in the living room, and it was just kind of crazy. And my sister had told me that one time they were in the living room. I don't remember the details of the entire story, but I guess Joseph was like on the couch, and he asked his parents, like, who's that man? And I guess my sister or her husband, I'm not sure, was like, what man? And he was like, the man on the ceiling. And that was so creepy to me. It made like the hair on my arms stand up and the back of my neck stand up. So yeah, it just reminded me of that, and I thought that we would go ahead and read some more creepy stuff together. So grab a snack, get some coffee, whatever you want, and we're gonna go ahead and get into this. So the first story is called Daddy, It's a Monster, We Should Bury It. My 3-year-old daughter stood next to her newborn brother and looked at him for a while, then turned and looked at me and said, Daddy, it's a monster. We should bury it. That would be really creepy, I would think, as a mother, to have your child say that about your newborn child. The second one is called The Man Who Crawls on the Floor and Stands by My Bed. My coworker's 4-year-old daughter always thought that the rattling of the water pipes in the kitchen cupboards were white wolves, and the sounds always scared her. One day she was sitting at the kitchen table and said, Mom, the white wolves aren't bad. They are our friends. Her mom encouraged the idea by saying, yes, the white wolves are protecting us. They are our friends. Then her daughter added in, they are our friends, but not the man who crawls on the floor and stands by my bed. Goodbye, Dad. I was tucking in my 2-year-old. He said, Goodbye, Dad. I said, no, we say goodnight. He said, I know, but this time it's goodbye. Had to check on him a few times to make sure he was still there. It's the closest I can get to seeing her dead. He's not my kid, but my godson is extremely creepy. He likes to stand in his little sister's doorway while she naps and watch her sleep. I ask him why, and he says, it's the closest I can get to seeing her dead. He also likes to shove her fist in his mouth as far as it can go because he wants to know what suffocating is like, just in case. I'm pretty sure he'd be a serial killer if it wasn't for Mario Kart. That one's like really scary, but also nice comical relief at the end there. The man with the snake neck. While changing my daughter in front of the open closet door, she kept looking around me and laughing. I asked her what was so funny. She said, "The man," to which I replied, "What man?" She then pointed at the closet and said, "The man with the snake neck." I turned around and nothing was there. I'm afraid to look into the history of my house to see if anyone hung themselves in the closet. At least she wasn't scared. You will die soon. Not me, but to his grandmother. He was cuddling with her and being very sweet. He was about 3 at the time. He takes her face in his hands and brings his face close to hers. Then he tells her that she's very old and will die soon. Then he makes a point of looking at the clock. The next one is called, "I Want to Peel All Your Skin Off." I was sound asleep, and at around 6 a.m. I was woken up by my 4-year-old daughter's face inches from mine. She looked right into my eyes and whispered, "I want to peel your skin off." The backstory here is I had been sunburned the previous week and was starting to peel. In my sleep-addled state, however, it was pretty terrifying for a few seconds. I didn't know if I was dreaming or what was going on. When you die, I'm going to eat you. My sons were about 2 and 4 when their pet goldfish died. I attempted to use the situation as an opportunity to discuss death and mortality. After I finished my explanation, my 4-year-old looked up at me with his big blue eyes and asked, "Mommy, someday will you die?" My heart filled with love and a little sadness, knowing this was one of those pivotal moments when the first bit of childhood innocence was lost. And I told him, "Yes, someday Mommy will die." "Good," he said with a totally deadpan expression and walked out of the room. Later, when we were about to flush the fish, he asked if he could eat him instead. I said, "No, we don't eat pets because we love them." And he said, "When you die, I'm going to eat you." Oh my God. Next one. Carson is gone. I am Rick. When my son was little, maybe 3, he used to do this weird crawl where he would slide his forehead along the floor. That was pretty creepy in itself. Then one night he crawled across the hallway into my room like that and stood up a few inches from my face and made a weird meow sound. He got into bed with me and went to sleep. Another time, he was freaking out about a monster in the basement, so we went down and saw nothing, of course. And as I turned out the light and headed upstairs, he said, "He's right behind us." I might have peed a little. Possibly the creepiest thing he did was one day I scolded him for misbehaving, so he hid his head under his blanket. I pretended I couldn't find him by saying, "Where is my little Carson?" He slowly lowered the blanket with a dead evil stare and said, "Carson is gone. I am Rick." I am certain he's possessed. We never knew any Ricks as far as I can remember. Still don't. Never figured out where he picked up the name. That's pretty creepy. I would think that person should maybe seek some help for their kid. Especially if they're possessed. Yeah, that's very unsettling. Baby brother. So I shouldn't throw him in the fire? 3-year-old daughter holding her baby brother for the first time. Yeah, she wouldn't be allowed to hold the baby anymore if that was my child. The pretty girl at the cottage. My 3-year-old nephew was at my cottage. He's asked me numerous times about the girl over there while pointing at one of the back bedrooms. The place is small and there's definitely nobody there, so I just dismiss it as a really active imagination. He has lots of imaginary friends. Then some friends are visiting and they have a daughter around the same age. She has never met my nephew. Twice in the one day she asked about the pretty girl while pointing at the exact same room. Definitely freaked me out and I didn't know what to think. Then at Christmas, my family was over at my place and my nephew points at a picture of my wife and asks if she is coming to visit us here or does she just stay at the cottage. My wife died 10 years ago. Personally, I don't really believe in paranormal stuff, so it's probably just my logical brain putting together a bunch of kids' ramblings, but it definitely got my attention. Next one is called He's Coming For You. You Better Hide. While not something my own child has said, my younger cousin, around 5 at the time, once drew a picture of a black monster, looked up at me, and said, "He told me to draw this. He's coming for you. You better hide." You will put me down, down, down in the hole. I have a 3-year-old who says some pretty strange stuff. Last night he said, "Mommy, the man, the very big man with the yellow eyes is looking at you." I look, nothing. I tell him there's no man and he is make-believe. My son laughs. "Oh, he is hiding now." 2 minutes later, "Oh no, Mommy, you made him very mad. Now he says he will come when you are sleeping. A few weeks ago, he tells me, I'm not going to be 4. I'm going to die, and you will put me down, 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 in the hole. I tell him this isn't true, and who told him that? He gets quiet and goes, the man told me, but I will be scared, so after 3 nights, you die too, and come with me. Sheesh, as if I didn't have bad dreams already. The next one is called, Daddy, I love you so much that I want to cut your head off. A friend of mine's child told him, Daddy, I love you so much that I want to cut your head off and carry it around so I can see your face whenever I want. I mean, that just sounds like a kid who doesn't understand the concept of what he's saying. I mean, it's still kind of creepy, but it still made me laugh. The next one is called The Bad Man. So this is just like a dialogue. So it starts off saying, why are you crying? And the kid responds, bad man. What bad man? There. Points behind me at a dark corner of the room. Lamp on bookshelf next to said darkened corner falls off as soon as I turn to look. She slept in our bed that night. Ham can't scream. When I was a waitress, I watched a little girl, 4-ish, stab her plastic fork into her sandwich repeatedly, saying, die, 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 die. When I asked her what she was doing, her mom was in the bathroom for a minute. She replied with a straight face, I like to kill things, but Mom says I shouldn't, so I picked the ham because it can't scream. Oh my god. Okay guys, the last one is called Satan Wants to Meet You. A few months ago, I asked my brother and his wife if their kids ever did anything creepy. They both immediately looked at each other and seemed surprised that I asked. Apparently, the last couple of weeks, they would hear my niece talking to herself in her bedroom. They assumed it was just her playful imagination, so they didn't give it much thought. One day, however, my brother asked her who she kept talking to. She said it was her new best friend, Satan, who visits her at her window every day. Her window is close to the ground, so they were seriously concerned that there was someone actually going up to her window and kept a closer eye on her for the next few days. Every single time they would hear her talking, he would go outside to her window, but never found anyone. They began asking her more about this new friend, and apart from his name being Satan, she mentioned that he follows her everywhere she goes, and that he promised her he will bring her a cake one day. At a late cookout at my parents' a week before they mentioned this, she took her mom outside to the backyard and pointed to the pitch black backyard, and told her that her friend Satan was there and wanted to meet her also. They made chills run down my spine since I was at that cookout also. After that, they made her promise she wouldn't talk to Satan anymore. Alright guys, that was the last story. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I mean, paranormal stuff's my favorite stuff and you guys seem to like it too, so please don't forget to subscribe, share this video, thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!